Hi, I'm James Martin and I'm from Explore Hocking Hills and I'm here with Derek Mills from the Hocking Hills Orchard. How are you doing, Derek?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, thank you. So tell me about your place here and what have you got?
All right. So our little niche is, I think of us as like a living history museum in a way. So we're a U-pick orchard, but instead of having the apples you might typically see in an orchard, we have currently 1,700 varieties of apples that we grow. We have apples all the way back to the Roman era, and I have some of those today for you guys to sample. We have like Dacio, which was eaten by the Romans, Court Pindu Plat. So in North America, there's about 2,500 varieties that were grown in the late 1800s, and believe it or not, most of those are still around, but they're just like in out-of-the-way places like this. So here at our place, we have, like I said, 1,700. We let people come here usually the last week in August, and we go through the first week in October.
Wow. So you're saying that the amount of varieties was reduced dramatically over time.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, it's because for commercial growers, like when you go to a grocery store, Americans, for the most part, buy with their eyes, right? So if you walk into the grocery store, you want to see a big pile of perfect red apples, perfect green apples, perfect yellow. You know, until Honeycrisp. Honeycrisp sort of broke that mold a little bit by having its different colors. But for the most part, that's how things are. And so think about it, next time you go to the grocery store, you see those big piles of perfect apples. And so when you're a commercial grower, you want them to ripen. You want them to have ripen all at the same time. You want them to have the same look, and you want them to have the same shape and the same color. And so that's a big deal. So if you're an heirloom variety like this Newtown Pippin right here, it might ripen over a month. If you're a commercial grower, that's not really appealing to you to have things out there. If you have 10,000 trees of that and they're ripening over a month, that's a lot of labor cost. And then some of them are really different shapes, like that big smokehouse. Some of those can be pretty big. Some of those are sort of small. So that's what makes them not so appealing to a commercial grower, right?
Right, so it was all a commercial decision why this all got consolidated. Right. But what you're saying is that a lot of these varieties are available and you actually grow them here.
Yep, we grow them here because, at one point, for America, like in the late 1800s, things were more regionalized, right? So you might have commercial varieties that were big here in Ohio. Maybe they didn't eat them down there in Arkansas, but, they were still commercially availably grown. And then as the country became more and more homogenized and things, infrastructure was built and you could ship things all over the place, it just became easier for the commercial growers to have what was easy for them to sell, And but what makes us so unique is when people come here, it's not like going to, like I said, a regular orchard. You're coming for the experience of getting a little bit of the history of the apples, and to walk through the orchard and just have that experience. And plus, we have apples with some really cool names. We have hen's turds, goose's ass, duck's bill, the cat head. So there's apples with great names.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you've got some of your apples behind us here.
Yeah.
Did you want to point out some of your favorites?
Yeah, sure. So the funny thing is, my pat answer usually when somebody asks me what is my favorite apple, it's like whatever's ripe at the time. Because I literally have got so many. I mean, I'll go out through the orchard, and if I'm testing something to see if it's ripe, because I may not know something that I've never grown, so I'll just pop it and eat it. But for like right now, here's some really good ones to try.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will tell you, if you're going to start with this Arkansas Black, people either love it or hate it. There's no middle ground. It's not, most people are that way. This Golden Russet is really a nice, good flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Clifford is the one that is the red flesh. So we have 260 varieties of apples that are red, orange, or pink on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the ones I always take to the schools, and usually when I do apple programs here, I always have that for people to try. This Dacio is the Roman apple. It's been around since the 400s. It's not like the best, but it's cool to me because so there's a story. The Romans go to fight Attila the Hun. After the battle, as the Huns are leaving, I can just imagine Roman soldiers sitting around eating that apple saying, "What'd you think about those Huns? Highly overrated." So that's a cool apple. It's not the best tasting, but it's just neat, that story. And then this Cornish aromatic clearly will never be in the grocery store. Not a good looking apple, but the flavor is exquisite. To me. Now, you might eat any of these and say, I absolutely hate those apples, but so there you go.
All right, so should we find that out then?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and
All right.
start straight away.
So James is going to start with Arkansas Black first. See the skin? It gets really dark. Some of these apples can get pretty good size on the tree. There's the inside. And like I was telling them a bit ago, you either love it or hate it. There's not a lot of middle ground on Arkansas Blacks.
Okay, I'm looking forward to this. Let's go.
All right.
Very good.
You like
Yep,
it? Good.
I do. I like that one. Mm-hmm.
That's good. I like it too.
A golden russet.
Golden russet, and it looks like a potato. I'll take these apples to the schools, and a lot of times school kids will say, that's not an apple, that's a potato. But the skin is it's a nice smooth russet. It's not real bad. It has a great flavor. And in the Revolutionary War, part of the wages for the soldiers, the Continental soldiers, was hard cider made from these apples. They call it the champagne of hard cider.
Okay.
I think it's a very good one.
Mm.
Oof. I almost fall down.
That's a lot sweeter, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. A lot sweeter.
Yeah, very nice.
That's a great apple. Yeah. All right. Now, we're coming on to some of my favorite apples for doing stuff. This is Daisio. So Daisio was an apple that was grown by the Romans. So it's not the best tasting. Look at the skin. It's like completely unappealing. And as James said, it looks like it could be a cooker or a crab apple because it has like the little mottled color to it. But think about the fact that from the 400s till now, this apple has still been grown. So there's a lot of value to it. And one of them is that it keeps forever. Now, it's not the best, but go ahead.
Okay, we're going in.
I mean, it's not horrible, but it's like...
You know, I really like that one.
Do you?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
good.
very tasty, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's good. So you like them a little bit on the tart side.
Yes, I do, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's good. All right. Now, this is Clifford. This is a great apple because when I go to the schools, I will say to the school kids, what color are apples? Kids will say it's red. You know, they'll know it's a yellow. Somebody might know it's a green one. And then I'll say, what color are they on the inside? And then I'll cut into one of these apples, and they see that red. And it's easy for kids to remember because Clifford the big red dog, this is Clifford the big red apple. It's red on the outside, it's red on the inside. It's a really good, to me. Now, my granddaughter says this one tastes like strawberries. So,
Okay.
now, yeah, these are a little bit softer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that as I was cutting into it, it was a lot softer.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep, I figured you liked it when you said the tart.
That is relatively tart as well,
Yep.
isn't it? Yeah.
So this is a reason why I grow heirloom apples. This is not the best looking apple. It's Cornish aromatic. It's been around since the 1500s, and it has like a really gnarly kind of skin on it, and but the flavor to me is phenomenal. Really good flavor to it. So go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'd agree. I would say that was probably the best tasting one.
It's
Yeah,
very good. Yeah.
very, very nice. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate you getting me to actually
welcome.
experience all these apples. That's awesome. Thank
Well, I'm
you.
glad you came out.